Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 afoot. And we have had a very interesting series. Rather really well executed game number 1 into a very poorly executed game number 2. So, God knows where map number 3 is going to lead to. We just know that the winner of this will play against Lucira, and the loser will play against Czech. So, spawning here in the top left corner of the map, it's going to be the red Terran player, currently teamless. I'll give you GuMiho.
The bottom right as the blue Zerg, it's the Flash Wolves, Leenock.
You know, there's a time back in the, I want to say TSL 4 qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. I got the rare opportunity back then to cast like a Korean, right? And then there was like 7 months before I ever cast a Korean again. GuMiho was one of the first that I ever got to see, and I've kind of like, not really like had that fanboy crush on him like I've had for people like Joxy and stuff, but he's always been one of those players who's kind of been like, wow, this guy's good, this guy's cool, and I don't know, I don't want to see him in the losers bracket just out of sheer nostalgia if nothing else, but at the same time, Leenock, I still can't help but think back to game number 1, played that's so sick.
I gotta bring it back to the fact that these guys are just kind of, I don't know, they're kind of similar. They were on the same team for a while, for a lot longer. I think they've been on different teams, actually. They were on FXO for quite a while. And they both seem to just, like, you know, I don't know if they actually talked about strategy and whatnot, but they always seem to come out with cool strategies. Leenock, you know, he was really big on Baneling drops for a very long time, and him versus Naniwa was a pretty cool rivalry that consisted of a lot of, you know, that cool ZVP that doesn't really exist anymore. And then GuMiho was, like, the only player who I saw actually try and use EMPs and snipes versus infestors. Like, everyone always like hypothesized he was actually the only one who even tried.
Yeah, I like.
So, I mean,
I like to, by the way, the infestors have come so far. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You're like, oh, these things are like terrible.
Yeah,
now.
right. Yeah, I don't know. And you know, there's not really a problem like that needs to be solved currently in this in like the meta right now. That like, you know, these players are both shining because they're doing really weird stuff. But they do add in some weird stuff, right? Like GuMiho not T-Rexing, just kind of like awkward penguin his way into like a proxy regular Reaper timing. Yeah. Like, that's pretty cool.
You know, actually, just on the topic of Infestor, you know, there's a lot I like that they've changed. The Infested Terran's not getting upgrades, the fungal growth is doing less damage, but I do think it would be cool to see Neural Parasite come back into play. Because, I mean, the biggest thing about Neural Parasite that was OP was, like, it would grab the Mothership and it would end all matches, right? But without the Mothership having Vortex anymore, I mean, like, what OP benefit is there to giving the range back to Neural Parasite, other than cool factor for casters, I guess, in the audience?
I don't know. I think what's nice and not nice about buffing something is that it's used extensively for the next month. So that sucks in CTs and Warp Prism, but it's kind of cool to see what they could do with a Neural Parasite buff.
Well, you're right about the flavor of the month thing too. I mean, like, you can be like, okay, Reapers have been buffed with 1 additional HP. It'll be all Reapers all day, no matter what.
Seriously.
Like, from every
You're finding
player.
imbalances. If you attack exactly this time, the Reapers won't die to the Queens. Like, oh my god.
But that,
people get
yeah, this has definitely been the case. I mean, for those who haven't been like super paying attention to the scene for a long time, you know, like Warp Prism's got a speed buff for like a week. Warp Prism's got used like crazy, and everyone thought it was going to be OP. And then it kind of faded off because people learned how to deal with it. Oracle's got an unnecessary speed buff. Still really powerful to this day, but no longer the build that everyone does every game no matter what.
Yo.
Oh, no.
Okay, that was not what I was yoing about, but that is a big mistake. Do you remember when DTs were also going to get a speed buff?
Oh. Yeah, they canceled that. I'm so glad they canceled that.
Wasn't it just as fast as Stim Marine?
That was
just like, it blew my mind.
I still think DT should benefit from Blink. I know that every player's gonna hate me for saying that, but it's just because, like, I don't really know any StarCraft lore where, like, Stalkers have the Blink. It's all about Zeratul blinking to fight Kerrigan and looking all cool and stuff, right?
Because he's special.
Okay, I trained in the Void.
Yeah.
But
special hero.
Cloak with a Viking. I guess Viking first clean up a lot of the overloads can be pretty cool. Banshees don't necessarily have to be used right away. And we always go back on this. Like, some of the best Banshee use I've ever seen is not killing 5 or 6 drones, but sniping the Banelings in the mid game, sniping the Banelings in the early game, holding Roach all-ins. And GuMiho, by the way, perhaps not gearing towards that. We don't really have an Evo chamber down, so I'm curious what he's planning to do with this. It's usually the other way around for Roaches and Banelings, but layer on the way, so...
Yeah. I like this sport called The Natural. It covers a lot of things, and it doesn't stop being good He's a mid-late game. It helps out against drops as well, so just get it early. I think GuMiho, like a Viking into Banshee doesn't actually just complete like 100% mech, but it does delay like your stim a lot. You're getting Banshees at a later time, or like usually, I don't know, you're gonna start like pumping out Marines and whatnot. So I'm kind of feeling the mech this game. Question mark. Of course, I always got to wait and see what he throws down in terms of engineering phase or factories.
Well, I mean, in predictions of mech, it is one of those maps where you can actually lock down 4 bases, and again, that seems to be GuMiho's strong point. He gets that late game and finds that nobody seems to know how to deal with his battle cruisers, and who can blame him, because Corruptors kind of suck.
Yep, no line there. It is an armory, so it looks like it is going to be that mech. Double armory, in fact, so confirmed, not just like a Hellbat push, but
bam,
definitely mech.
Well, this is an especially interesting point, because Leenock I've definitely seen Leenock play against mech before in other matches, and I don't think he's that player who's going to struggle. He's not going to be that guy who's awkwardly like, oh no, what units did I make, right? I mean, he might not be the one to jump to Swarm Host, but he'll be able to maneuver around, and again, mech kind of reminds me of one of these styles where like I like Mutas more because I can get around it, not because there's no anti-air for it. But of course, the scary thing is we're considering a lot of mech for the ground fight, but realistically for GuMiho, he's definitely thinking about the long game before even he makes his first tank, but he's thinking about battle cruisers, right?
Yeah, with a double armory, definitely shows towards the late game.
Like
I mean, he can try and go for a 2-2 if like he sees an opportunity, but it's King Sejong. He's like just always gone for the battle cruiser style this game or this map.
Well, that's a lot of Hellions barreling down the middle of the map. These queens might not even be able to deal with this. There's not a lot of transfuses.
There's Banelings, so he can't run into the natural, which is maybe what he was thinking about doing.
Just run to the 3rd instead.
Yeah, kill the Banelings in the way. Just kill the Banelings.
There you go, pops him off. 1 remains. Of course, the queens aren't that big of a threat when you're focusing on the drones, but runs into one of the Banelings. 3 more available. Stop shooting the queen, man. Why? This transfuses like.
That was the only one with transfuses until that second.
True enough. I do like that he's going for the double Thors behind this. Again, this is the fear of every mech player. When you get caught off guard by the Mutalists, when you see those Mutalists pop, it's like an auto GG. But, ooh. We got a lot of Hellions dealing a lot of damage here in the natural. We do finally get cleaned up. But a total of 17 workers died through all of this. And let's not forget this Banshee that's still here in the main. So definitely getting his worth out of this attack.
Also scouted that Spire and confirmed the Mutas are out, so I wanted to start placing down missile turrets. You know, Thors are obviously great for the main fight, but they're pretty clunky to go around to 3 bases.
Very true. Well, Lings are running up through the middle. Yeah, he's going to try and segment around the side, but with all the Hellions being gone, I almost wonder if this is maybe too much. Raven, point defense drone, nope! Gets picked off pretty quick.
You know, Leenock or GuMiho, if he was really wanted to be very careful, he could make a missile turret in the middle of the natural on the 3rd, make a extra safe Muta defense. There is an attack going on in the 3rd. Hellions are getting into the drone line. There's nothing here to help them out. They're piling up and they are dying.
Yeah, 11 guns so far. Oh, as the retreat might get us a couple more.
You know, Leenock, he's investing into flyer attacks, so maybe not quite giving up on the Mutas yet. And he's not investing in any ground upgrades, which is a little questionable right now. I mean, he's already on to a 4th base, and I don't think Evo Chamber's been thrown down. Nope.
Well, with this really Thor-heavy composition, not only is this great defensively against the Mutas, but this is a really scary push tactic that comes because, you know, there's not a lot of roaches in play. There's not Swarm Host coming out. He doesn't need the siege things. Hellbats and Thors will carry him to a quick victory if Leenock's unprepared for this.
Yeah. I don't think... Leenock's not really... Or, man, I keep getting this guy confused since I talked about them being similar. GuMiho, he's not like looking to be geared up to do that push though. You know, it's really effective against people who do go Swarm Host because they kind of have like a low number of Swarm Hosts. But like Leenock has like low number of like nothing, right? He just has nothing right here, so it would have been a possibility. But GuMiho gets 2 command centers.
How does this Banshee still even get in here, right? Like at this point in the game, you're like, at least a Spore Crawler per base. No.
Yeah. Okay, GuMiho is moving out here. Very dangerous. I mean, you don't know if they have a humongous bank, which is actually the case.
Well, he's actually going to
and they're about to max out in roaches.
I mean, if you see this many mutas, I mean, it's not going to see the 14 more coming, but if you see this many mutas, you got to have some indication knowing that, like, there's not a lot of ground force at work here.
10 is pretty perfect, though, to actually fool them into thinking you're not going to go more than mutas.
Oh, those drones. Wasn't sure if that was going to kill a lot or not. Still gets a decent hitter to it. Ooh. One more shot would have killed several more. Thor's killed that 5th base, but still a 4th one gets established here in the middle of the map, and what I am really worried about is, like, you can imagine a box on top of a Thor, but not 5. These are still going to kill the mutas.
Oh, coming in here. They do want to magic box over the Thors. I mean, 5 Thors is nothing really to scoff at, but magic box is pretty damn good.
I'm looking at the Lings more than the mutas in this particular instance, but Raven comes on in, point defense runner, secret missile. Which one's it going to be? Neither.
Yeah. No, none of the above.
There's another Thor over here too. Like, I'm surprised it did so much damage, but I guess with the Lings holding the Thors in place, you can't really run at that point either. This is getting a little bit worrisome for GuMiho, because while he's killed a lot of mutas, he's also lost a lot of his anti-air. Just a couple of awkward Vikings. Secret missile gonna go off. Stacks up. Nice, taking this out. Sick control. They're out of Leenock.
GuMiho underestimating how many mutas there were or how powerful mutas are. We've actually seen this commonly, but it's kind of like gone away from, like, you know, mass mutas, so we haven't seen it in a while. But when it was popular, you know, 5 Thors couldn't take on mutas, actually, as silly as that is. They needed Viking help.
I agree, but I think one of the big things is, despite losing the source, he still trades out better at the end of the day. Mutas are so freaking expensive, and I mean, Leenock, for the cost of a Thor, like, okay, maybe that trade works out better, but we look at the resources lost, and GuMiho's in a pretty okay spot. His army composition is also coming up on 3-3. I mean, there's no carapace upgrades yet, it's on the way. Those mutas are going to just get wrecked. He's brought a lot of SCVs, not to pull the boys, but to spam repair. Can he keep those Thors alive? Oh no, he's preparing the Hellbats, prepare the Thors!
Yeah, it's alright.
There you go, he pulls him into this. It's like the biggest turret you guys have ever seen.
Yeah, I think what's also really helping out is that 2-2. It
Yeah.
makes them so indestructible versus an upgradeless, I mean, pretty much. Leenock. Swarmhost is the tech of choice, by the way. He's taking a sweet time getting there. I feel like GuMiho, like, yeah, he just push.
I feel like the Swarmhost transition is a little too late, because while there's not going to be tanks in this army to push forward with, it's the idea that, like, he'll beat back the first Locust wave, and before the second one's ready to go, he'll kill the Swarmhost with the Thor fire. Or just the Hellbat fire, really. I mean, the Hellbat splash damage is pretty darn good. He doesn't have Blue Flame, which kind of sucks, but again, it adds only damage to the Locust, not the actual Swarmhost.
Well, 3-3 is halfway done for GuMiho, so he is looking to have a very powerful macro game behind this push.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a surprisingly long and slow game for the point it's at. Like, normally this is what we see closer to, like, the 15-minute, like, 150 supply mark, but this is a little bit longer, a little bit later than normal. However, it's still coming in quite powerful, as we can see. New Locust Wave spawns, these Swarmers have got to reposition. But most of the Hellbats are gone. He's traded out for the Locust pretty well. So if he can get one more wave of Locust out, maybe he can start beating this back. But that's a pretty big if, because they're on cooldown, and here we go, starting to reproduce one more time.
Starting to lose his Locust, though. They're being targeted down. There's no more room to run. Well, actually, there's a bit more room to run. This King Sage on.
Thors just popping off the Locust left and right. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks are dealing with a couple of Thors over here. But again, as you said, it's 2-2. Just trucking the damage here. A couple of Vikings awkwardly just shooting whatever they can. There's, what, 5 Swarmhosts left at this point? He can focus down on the hatchery. He is going to focus the hatchery. Kind of base type style. But Leenock loses all of his mutas, and this is what he's primarily been investing in too. I mean, level 2 weapon upgrades are being invested here too. That hatchery lives with 55 health! Get over there and land a Viking, man. Oh, he's actually... he's slaughtering... Really... He's slaughtering the elbows. This happened before when we cast GuMiho.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Magic Vikings. Okay, GuMiho getting a lot of Vikings is awesome, but he also needs to stop rallying in because he's starting to lose out every single time he does.
Ah, man, focus fire. Yo, if he loses all these Vikings but kills every single Overlord for it before the mutas come, I think that would be worth it. I mean, so many of these are popping. Look at the supply block. 120, 112 is the cap. Blue Flame gets over here to the left side of the map. We might have some mutas and roaches go for a counterattack, but realistically, GuMiho has kept Leenock from being able to make any units.
Getting finally unsupply blocked and 4 more coming out. He'll have actually room to make more supply, but he's down by 40 supply.
Oh, folks, the hatchery, don't go for the drones. Transfuses go down.
Transfuse goes down. He's on a decent, like, the working count's pretty even, but the army count is just so big, and 3-3 did finish up behind that. GuMiho's getting another free, like, commands there just because.
One Viking versus one muta is such a lame fight. Oh my god.
It is pretty lame.
Like, I picture, like, the muta swerving and diving and, like, you know, U-turns and loop-de-loops out of the Viking, but no, they just kind of sit there like, 3-second cooldown, going in once again. GG's gonna be called. GuMiho, he's gonna take the series. He'll go fight against Lucira in the winners match, and Leenock will fall.